all of my money was just stolen. And he was somehow able to access my account, and he wiped my checking and my savings clean.
The elderly are not the only ones falling for these scams anymore. More and more of these scams are draining bank accounts, AI-generated voices sounding like your loved ones, fake bank websites, and realistic chatbots to trick people into giving their login details and one-time codes. Now, these scams look so real that even tech-savvy users are falling for them. This one is a really crazy scam because they're impersonating your family members, and all the numbers that show up when they call you are of your family members. Your grandmother, your sister, your brother, just like this story right over here.
By saying that this is not my usual content, however, I feel compelled to hop on and share a PSA about a really horrifying scam that is going around right now, and that actually happened to my family in the middle of the night last night. I have seen a few people talking about this like on Instagram and on Facebook and in a couple of like Facebook groups that I'm in, but it's one of those things that you see it and you're like, dang, that's crazy, but you never really think that it could happen to you. Around 3:30 this morning, while we were all sleeping, my brother and I both received a call from my mother's phone. It was her contact number, it was her contact photo, it was even like what was named in our separate phones for her. So in my phone, she is Mama, and in my brother's phone, she is Mom, and it came up like as her contact in both of our phones when we were both called. And for context, I live about 30 minutes out from Atlanta. My brother lives in Atlanta, and my parents live also in the same town as me, like 15 minutes away, so we were all at separate households. I received the call first, but I did not answer because I didn't hear it. It was 3:30 in the morning. I had my phone on vibrate. I didn't hear it go off. My brother happened to have his phone on loud. He received the call second, and he did answer because he heard it ringing and he thought something was wrong. When he answered the phone, he immediately heard what sounded like my mom, a woman's voice that sounded just like her, just crying hysterically and screaming. And so he obviously like freaked out and was like, Mom, what's wrong? Like, is there something wrong with Dad? Like, what's going on? And then before like she could say anything, a man came on the phone and said, I'm going to kill this bitch if you don't wire me $2,500.
They don't care at all about your situation. They're heartless. I mean, they just want your money. They'll call you at 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, because they know you're probably sleeping. You're going to be out of it. And they also know that they can play with emotions, okay? They want to get you emotional so that you can make these rash decisions without thinking, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning.
This man is like yelling over the phone, super aggressively, like demanding money, like saying he's going to murder my mother if he does not get money. The older brother is very level-headed, but at this point he's obviously like freaking out. He had not heard of this scam before. I had heard of it before, but even if I had gotten that call, I probably still would have lost my shit because I'm not as level-headed in high pressure situations like that. I probably would have been freaking out, but even he was freaking out. But he had his work phone on him, so he was on his like normal personal phone, and on his work phone, he immediately opened up Life 360, which if you do not have Life 360 for your family and your entire family on there, highly recommend it. It is such a good resource just to keep tabs on where everyone is and making sure everybody is safe if there's any situation like this or any situation just in general, car accidents, anything like that. Life 360 is a lifesaver. So he opened up his Life 360 and he saw that both my parents were seemingly at home, which obviously doesn't mean that they're out of danger. It just means that he had eyes on them. He knew where they were. So once he knew that they were both there, he starts trying to call my dad's phone from his work phone while he's on the phone with this guy. And my dad's not answering because, again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, I didn't hear my phone ring. Nobody's hearing their phone ring. So he's calling me, he's calling my dad, and he's trying to get a hold of somebody to, like, figure this out. After a little bit, he's not like totally convinced that there's no danger involved, but he is starting to see like red flags. Like he hears a baby crying in the background all of a sudden, which my parents don't have a baby. There shouldn't be a baby. There's no reason there would be a baby with them. And so he's thinking, okay, I know they're at their house, so this is weird. Why is there a baby? And then he also realizes that this man has not mentioned my dad at all, which you would think that he would say, I have your parents, or I've done something to your dad, and now I have your mom, or whatever. So he has not mentioned my dad at all. He's seemingly calling from my mom's phone, so he knows that My mom has her phone, and he also knows that they are at home together. So at this point, he decides to hang up. He hangs up the phone because he's like, this is weird. I don't think this is legit. So he hangs up the phone and he calls 911, and they confirmed that basically like this is a scam that is going around. They're aware of it, but they're gonna send a car to the house just to drive by and see if everything's okay. So at this point, my brother feels a little bit relieved, but he gets in the car to drive towards my parents' house anyway because my mom and dad are still not answering their phone. He gets about a quarter of the way there, and then at that point, my mom finally answers her phone, and she's been asleep this whole time, and everything is totally fine, which is such a relief. We were lucky enough to have not lost any money in it. Everything was fine. My parents were fine. The whole family was fine. But is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard? I am so shook by it. It is such a traumatic way to scam somebody. Like, horrifying. Like, not only like they ask for $2,500, which in the grand scheme of things is not that much money, and that's why they do it. I looked it up and I did a little bit of research on it, and apparently they ask for that amount of money because it's an amount of money that most people could give up if they felt like a family member was in danger. But it's, you know, it's just enough for the predator to get some money, but it's not so much that it would be hard for, you know, the general population to obtain or flagged by a bank, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also just crazy that they do it in the middle of the night, or at least they did for us, because they do it at a time that, like, number one, you're disoriented and like vulnerable, and number two, like, you're not able to get a hold of anybody that, like, to confirm that this is happening or not happening. And so it is just like, it's so low and traumatic for anybody to receive a call like that, and I just feel like everybody needs to know about it.
Also, that's another thing. Keep an ear out for red flags. For example, that crying baby. Wait a minute, that's not mom's house. There's no baby there. Also, another red flag, her father didn't mention anything about her father. So it's like, well, okay, that's a red flag. These things make you feel a little bit better, but just keep an eye out for that.
And again, I feel like it has been circulating on like social media, so a lot of people might already know about this, but if you don't, you need to. So anyway, I wanted to hop on and talk about it to hopefully save somebody just the mental anguish of receiving a call like this out of the blue. At least maybe now you'll have seen this video and you'll have at least some peace of mind, or just like an inkling that it could be not true. Share this with your friends, spread the word, because this is just the most predatory, low thing ever. And it was terrifying.
Please stop what you're doing. Listen, please, 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 please. The scariest scam just happened to us. I'm still very shaken. It didn't even happen to me. Please send this to your parents. If you have older parents, if you have older grandparents, please send this to them or let them know that this is happening, okay? So about half an hour ago, my husband got a call from my phone number. It had my picture, it had my name, everything about it. It was my number. It was like a regular call. He didn't even think anything of it, answered the phone. On the other line was a guy saying he was holding me hostage and was going to shoot me if my husband did not transfer him money through Zelle. My husband immediately started texting our good friend that's in the FBI, and that guy instructed him to keep the guy on the phone and try to have that guy put me on the phone. Like, if he really had me, put me on the phone. So Josh my husband is keeping him on the phone, trying to tell him to put me on the phone. In the meantime, he's also tracking my phone. Well, I happen to be at the hospital because my son had a doctor's appointment. So our FBI friend leaves work and is headed to me to make sure everything's okay. Josh was able to drag this phone call out for 5 minutes, and in the meantime, this guy's asking for, he's getting hostile, and he's asking for the money via Zelle. My husband's like, I don't know what Zelle is. Do you have Venmo? Because he's just like trying to prolong the conversation. He's like, I really need to talk to her. I need to make sure she's okay. After about 5 minutes of this, still wouldn't put me on the phone, obviously, because I wasn't there. So Josh, my husband, hung up and called me right back, and I answered, and he was like freaking out, right? Anyways, the scariest part of all this is that they call from your number, and they knew everybody's names. So please spread the word that this is a new scam, because it is very realistic. It is very terrifying. And I know that a lot of people would just give them account numbers to get their loved ones back. Gosh, just spread the word, please. Hopefully, if we spread it far and wide, we can squash this, and it will stop being a thing.
Imagine getting a call from your bank representative, and the phone number that shows up actually says the name of your bank.
All of my money was just stolen. Today I was the victim of phone fraud. Somebody called saying that they were from my bank, from the fraud department of my credit card, that there were fraudulent charges on my card. He verified them, asked me if I did them, and I said no, and then he said, okay, I'm gonna cancel your card right away, like, I'm gonna help you out, don't worry about it. He somehow already had access to, like, see my transactions on that card, so he went through, like, the most recent ones and asked me, like, is this legitimate, is this legitimate? I was like, yes, like, that I know. And then he somehow got access to, I didn't give him any passwords, nothing. He, like, already had stuff. He just asked me for, like, normal verification questions. And he was somehow able to access my account, and he wiped my checking and my savings clean. I reported it to BMO fraud, and I'm going to the police station now to report it as well. Just be so careful when people call you. Please, just be careful.
This is how crazy these scams are getting. So AI is being weaponized for a lot of these techniques that scammers are using.
So tell me why my daughter just got scammed out of $1,600. I'm not mad at her at all, because this was an honest mistake. So I'm checking my accounts, and my daughter, she has a high school checking account, high school savings account, and I'm on both of these accounts. So whenever I'm in my banking app, I can see my account along with her account. I go to just look at her account or whatever, making sure she ain't balling out. As soon as I open the account, I see this $200 transaction for Target. It was $199.99 to be exact. So then I check the next transaction. The next transaction says $199.99 Target. Girl, she had 8 $199.99 transactions hit her account. So I wait till when she wakes up, and I'm like, hey Cam, I'm like, girl, you know you missing $1,600? And she's like, what? Like, she's obviously shocked. So I'm like, can you think of a time when your card could have been compromised? Literally a week and a half ago, she got this text message from ePass. ePass in Florida is our toll company, and so she got a text message from ePass saying, hey, you need to pay this $7 toll violation. And my daughter did express to me that she had to run a toll like maybe earlier last month because we hadn't got her ePass set up. So she thought that this was from that toll that she ran. So her just trying to be a responsible young adult, she wanted to just go ahead and just take care of it. So she clicked the link because the text message sent her a link to take care of the toll violation. And so she clicked the link, put in her card information, she pressed pay, and when it came time for her to get a confirmation, like, it just was like this weird page, and her card never got charged. So she just thought it was weird, but she just never thought nothing of it. So here we are, a week and a half later. Her account is $1,600 short. I called Chase immediately, and I pretended like I was my daughter. However this person was getting her money, they was getting it via like Apple Pay. And I know banks are really funny about Apple Pay. Like, Apple Pay is supposed to be this secure thing. And I was explaining to the lady, like, listen ma'am, like, I know what you see, but I am telling you that this is not me. Like, obviously, like, why would I make 8 transactions for $199.99? Not only that, these transactions have different states, like one in Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Tennessee. Like, it was like 4 different states that these transactions was being done in. And I'm like, obviously I can't be in 4 different states at one time. So it was just a little bit of back and forth there that was just a little bit frustrating, but she was doing her job, and I don't doubt that we won't get our money back. I know we are going to get our money back. But anyways, I'm just hopping on here to tell you guys, like I tell my daughter and my kids, be careful of links. Like, don't click links, especially links that says like, oh, we're trying to deliver a package to you and we can't deliver it to you because we need your address. I will keep you guys updated on these $1,600. They did say it'll take like maybe like 10 up to 10 business days for her to get it back, and when she gets it back, it's only going to be temporary because they will be doing an investigation. But I know it won't be temporary. They just gonna give us back our money.
A few days before Christmas, my mom received a telephone call from Wells Fargo Bank. They spoofed the Wells Fargo number. So she has banked with Wells Fargo for 52 years. She's very familiar with their 1-800 number, and the call came in, caller ID from that 1-800 number. Answered the phone call, and Wells Fargo said the person posing as Wells Fargo said, "This is Wells Fargo Fraud Department. We want to verify if you made any of these purchases in Texas," right?
Right.
To which she hadn't made. They listed all these different thousands of dollars of purchases that she had not made. So then they went on to say, well, we need to protect your account, and in order to protect you from this fraud that's about to take place, we need to verify that it's you and do some protective measures. At that point, they started sending her the code from Wells Fargo that they wanted her to read back, and she the whole time is thinking this is the fraud department trying to help her from these charges that were about to, charges or wires?
Well, it was charges.
Charges that were about to take place.
Yes.
And so gave them the verification code, and to which then they were able to gain access of all of her accounts in Wells Fargo, and added themselves as wire recipients, putting her name as the nickname on the wire, so the wire would look like it was going to Judy, but it wasn't, and wired out $49,000 wires until they drained every cent that she had. And they did the 49,000 because at 50 you cannot do an online wire, 50 or more. So they did 49,000 and just multiple of them. Once this was happening, she was getting kind of that spider sense of a feeling, right? That just something didn't seem right. But again, with all intent, she thought that these people were trying to protect her from Wells Fargo. Called me, and I said, hang up with me right now, call Wells Fargo directly, call them and let them know what's going on. And so they had, as soon as I got her phone call, I drove over to her place, and what they had done also is forwarded all her cell phone calls by having her do *72 or something, saying that they needed her to do something on her phone. This forwarded all the calls to this other number. I imagine they do that in case Wells Fargo actually tries to call her, that it goes to that other number, but I don't believe, on looking at the call log, that Wells Fargo Fraud Department did try to call her while this was taking place. We have started an investigation. We have filed a police report with the Chula Vista Police Department. We have also filed something with the FBI. We know the bank and the routing number that it went to at Discover Bank. We are hoping that Wells Fargo is doing everything they can in order to get that money back, but every time we call, there's no new information. So please share this with everybody that you know. Obviously, this is not easy, for you feel foolish, but in looking at everything, I mean, they called from that number, and the best thing in speaking with the police department is if ever you receive a phone call, even if it's from an institution that you are familiar with, always hang up and call them back. Even if they try to tell you, oh no, call me directly at this number, you call the number on the back of your card that you are familiar with. directly, and usually these people will make you feel a sense of urgency, as they did, that all this money was going to get charged to her account if she didn't act quickly. And unfortunately, they took everything that she had. And so please, again, share it with people that you know, and we hope that this will help some of you out there. Friends and family have reached out because they've been a little concerned about my posts on different social media platforms about trying to connect with FBI and police department and such. And I know I worried, some people with those posts, but we're just trying to find the right people to help us and hopefully retrieve. It was over $100,000 that was taken, that we had money set aside for my dad's care, who's on hospice. So
if this video opened your eyes in any ways, share this video with someone you love, with someone you care about, especially if you have an elderly family member. Let them know that this type of thing is going on. They are the most vulnerable, but now they're getting people like the regular folk that are on the internet, are tech savvy. Make sure you stay safe out there. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.